I think you've all seen Make Human on how to install it and all stuff like that. So we'll come in, it's me man, he'll do, and we'll pose him, we'll rig him actually. It's not a pose, a rig. Can move that out of the way. We use CMU MB because it's got the least amount of bones, 31 bones. If you go to something like a game engine, 53, default, 163. Now, that's a lot of bones to move around. It's all right if you want facial expressions because it puts loads of bones in the face and stuff like that. Look, you can blink the eyelids and, you know, that's really for, yeah, professionals. Put CMU MB 31, no facial expressions, just your Joe Blogs. Looks like Parker from Thunderbird, so I've been told. FAB. So we'll do that, and then what we do is we'll open Blender. The latest version is, I think it's 3.41. Since it's moved to version 3, it's been a massive update, and it's really a good one. So if you haven't updated, it is worth it because there's a lot more new stuff in it, and it's right bang up to date. So you get your splash screen, click away. Let's put that. See if this one works. Start shortcut. There we go. There's a little thing down there. You can see some mouse clicks and that. This is a built-in one, so it should work. The other one will. So you come on, you press A, which selects your box, your light and your camera, or your light and your camera. You don't need them. And delete. Gone. Now, to install the Make Human files, you have to go to Edit, Preference, and then you come to Add-ons. And what you need to go is install, find the file. This is all explained. John done a video on it before. I'm not sure where mine is, but basically you install. So you can search for your add-ons. If you go community and search and put Make, these are the, now I've got an extra one here because I've got Make Human 2. Don't touch it yet. It's got a big warning sign there. It's an alpha one and it's not great at the moment. But the top 4, it's got Make Human Community, Make Clothes, Make Skin, Make Target. I've found that you only have to enable the top one, which is Make Human Community. The other ones you don't have to enable. Don't know why, but there we go. So if you've got Make Human Community plugin, you're good to go. So what you need to do now is press N, and it brings up your sidebar here. Got a couple here. We've got Make Human, that's the keylogger. That's the one John was talking about, construction lines, view and tools. Now we go to Make Human, and this is where we import our human. Now don't click on the import human straight away. You need to go to settings, lots of presets here. The one you need to start off with is add subdivide modifier. Untick it, because what it does, it divides up the figure you already had and it subdivides it, and it becomes very unstable. It's too big. You can't move it around. You can't, it's just not great. So trust me, click that, go back to mesh and import human. And there we go. And that's the human we had lined up. He's got his rig on him and his body. Now, if you look, he's got, if you look on the right there, you've got a list of what he got. You've got body, combat boots, that's his boots, coveralls, eyes, you know, different bits. Now, what we need to do is join these. So if we hide, click on the rig, actually click on the rig, go to the running man, go to viewpoint display and change it from wire to stickman. See why I can click on it a lot easier. So we click on there, and it comes up the top, tells you what it is, My Man 001. Hide that. Click on the body and then press A. So that's selected his hands, boots, eyes, hair, everything. Right click and join. Now you get this. It's even got a bit dangling in the front. I couldn't work out why it was doing this. That's not right. So if we do a Control Z and just delete everything there. Right, we're back to a square one. Press A, delete, and then we'll come in to make human again. Go to settings, click add subdivide modifier, and where it says, excuse me, how to handle helpers, click on there and press delete. Yeah, that's the two things you change in there. Go back to mesh, import human. Again, click on the rig, running man, viewpoint display, change to stick man. Now if we hide the rig up there, and we click on the main body, press A, and then right click, join. There we go, no helpers there. So don't know what the helpers are about, but they didn't help us. So if we unclick the rig, and what you should do is make sure that the rig's still attached to the body. So if you click on the rig, click on the move, yep, still attached to the body. So then what we normally do is go and just play about in pose mode. They go to pose mode and we can do all what we do to pose in. You know, it's all, you know, all this sort of stuff, yeah? But if we want to add, say, a different hat, there's not many hats in Make Human. So we click on the rig, we'll hide the rig. Now, find Thingiverse has got some hats, so we'll do a file import. I've got some, and STLs, DAE, any of these will work. Where's downloads? You know what? Can't even remember my men. Oh, there we go. Train driver, flat cap. I've got a policeman's hat, train crew, bowler. We'll give him a bowler hat, why not? Double click. Comes in Mahusive. So if we do a G, no, sorry, an S, we'll scale it. Just do an S, scale it right down, press home, and it'll come back to your man. Yeah, we want to scale it some more. So you can press S to scale it, and then we can fine tune it in a bit. So we're on the move tool, I'm going to move it up, and then we'll want to get it on his head. Bit of trial and error. If you press, come on the left, come down to transform, it gives you the different move tools and that all in one go. So I want to scale it in. I think that's, I will scale it that way a bit. We're going to move it over. We'll scale that in a bit more. It's a bit of push-pull, bit of this, bit of that. And not looking too sad for a trilby or bowler, whatever it was. Right, yep, looks good to me. Now what we need to do is, at the moment, we'll unhide, we'll click on the rig, on the mesh, and then we'll do a shift and we'll click on the hat. And we'll actually we'll do it the other way around. Shift on the hat, on the mesh, right click, and we'll join it. So now it's all one. We click on and we unhide our rig now. Yep, so we got our man, hat, everything joined. We'll click on the rig to make sure it's not, nothing's happened. Yep, and it still moves. If you click on your man and move him, he will move outside of the rig. Yeah, not a good idea. So always click on the rig if you want to move your man. Now, if we go to pose mode, and we'll say, right, let's just move his head. So we'll do the rotate and move his head. His hat's not there. right? Even though we joined the hat to the mesh, it's not there. It's not moving with the bones. So what we need to do now is go back to object mode. We click on the hat, or just click on the mesh, and then go to edit mode. Now, as it goes, it was selected there. If it's not selected, click on the hat, one click, and press L. And what it does, it will select everything that's linked to that hat. And what we want to do is assign a bone to that hat. So we come down to the right here, you've got, oh, actually it's come up there. It's object data properties. And if you go on the right, you've got a big long list of all the bones. So there should be 30 odd there, all the bones in the rig. And what we do need is right at the top there is head. Click on head and press assign. So now, in theory, that hat should be assigned to the head. We move the head, the hat should go with it. So if we go back to object mode, we click the rig, go into pose mode. If we click on there now and we move it, yep, we're a good one. And then we'll go back to object mode, and just to make sure that yep, it's still attached. Now sometimes your rig will become detached from the mesh. So I'll do and what is called is parenting. So now we've got the man there, we've got the mesh there. We move the mesh. When you don't want it to do it. Oh, it won't clear. But anyway, if your rig is not parented to your mesh, you click on your mesh, shift, click on the rig, do a Control P, and you'll come up set parent to. Come down and go to with automatic weights. And there we go. Something's gone wrong there. So we do a Control Z. First thing to do is in object mode, do a Control A. Because we've messed them about, we need to apply all the transformations, the rotation, scale, and everything like that. So we press all transforms, and now if we go Shift, Control P, with automatic weights, it stays in the mirror. If you move your man around, resize him, move the rig, you must apply Control A and apply whatever you've done. A good one is just all transforms. You can have visual transforms. It's one thing that caught me out. I couldn't work out why he wasn't changing. But if you go to press N and you'll come to item, these scale need to be at 1. So if we press all and we scale it, or press S, you'll see the scales changing. 1.16. Now, if we want him, yeah, well, that would do, yeah, it's 1.92 metres high. The scale was changed to 1.1. So what we need to do is Control A, press all transforms, no, press all, Control A, all transforms, and it puts it back scale to 1, because otherwise you will have problems. That's the way it works. But if you do need to edit it, we need to click on the mesh, go into sculpt mode, and this has really got bigger now. If you look on the left there, this is a list of what you can sculpt. This body is just one mesh. That's all it is. We click on the rig to hide the wrong one. Click on the rig to hide the rig. This is a mesh. Because if you go into edit mode, or press A, all that is triangles and squares, quads and tries, or what they call it. And that's all that is. So we go into sculpt mode. And this, basically, you can push the triangles and the squares, the quads and the tries back around. So let's say you want to make this hat a little bit fatter around the rim, you can say press inflate, and it'll start inflating it. You see there? Or we'll just go extreme. We'll right click. You right click when you're using one of the tools. You've got radius, make it nice and big, get a big old area in, and also you've got the strength. 0.5, it's a good starter. And you can also type a number in there, type 100, and then you come on. Oh, well, there you go. That's actually bringing the round instead of the hair, you know. But there we go, where are we going? But as you can see, that's not good. Sculpting is an art, yeah. So if you're going to start sculpting, you're going to be quite good for it, you know. But you can flatten, smooth, crease, clay. Let's try clay. There you go. You're adding to the mesh, yeah, and it's inflating the mesh and deflating at the same time. You know, you just have to play this. It's endless, this list. One good one is cloth. Go down, it's got cloth. You want to put some wrinkles in, as long as your mesh is thick enough. You see, you pull it down, like, can you see that? Good for adding creases in trousers and stuff like that. But you have to be careful how much you push it. You know, you can inflate the mesh. I was doing it the wrong way. Make the mesh bigger. But see, look, it's getting, anyway, you get the idea. So we'll go back to object mode, and I'll tell you what we can do. I was playing with a little bit earlier. We'll go to home. As we'll put a spade in his hand. So we'll go file import on STL. And we go shovel. There we go. Double click. Now, yeah, it hasn't shown up. Where is it? There we go. It's over there on the right. So on the cursor in the middle, right click, set origin, geometry to origin. And what it'll do is it'll bring that shovel to the middle. Press on the shovel, press S to scale it, and we'll bring it down to a reasonable size. Yep. So we can rotate that, or if we do the transform one, it's a solid object, so it's pretty good. We'll go on the red, rotate it up, turn it round, and move it. Where's it gone? It's gone in there, man. And then what you need to do is get it into his hand. Now that looks a bit, we'll go to scale because that looks a bit wide to me. I'll narrow it down a bit. Don't forget, this figure's only going to be 20 mil high. So you have to be careful. And there we go. Oh, I was scaling it before I was moving it. We'll move. There we go. I'll move it up. And then a bit of a funny angle. We'll do a rotate on it. And I'll move across. And that should be good. So, I mean, you can go in. We can go in after and put his hand grip in it. But don't forget, you're not going to see a lot of that. So then we're going to do the same thing again. We'll click on our man. We want to join the shovel to it. So we do a shift. Actually, we do a shift and click on the shovel, click on the man, right click, join. Yep. So we'll put our rig back on, click on. We'll just make sure it's moving. Yep, still joined up. And so we want to go now, edit mode. And luckily our shovel's connected. We want to assign that to his right hand. So we come down the list here, the vertex groups, and we should have a right hand. So you've got right arm, thumb, right foot, right hand. There we go. The right hand, you want to assign it to the right hand. Bit of luck, we should go to the pose mode now. We'll click on his finger, and then we'll come to the what's it called? Bone constraint properties. We'll add a bone constraint, which is called inverse kinetics, IK. They use it a lot in Blender. And what it does, it joins up the bones. So you move the finger and the rest of the bones are going to move with it. So you've got your IK list here. The one you need to look at is the chain length. Because at the moment, the chain length is to the middle. There's no length to it. So we change that 0 to a 5 and enter. Now the chain length has come up the arm, 1, 2, 3, 4, to the shoulder. So when you move this finger now, it's going to move all the way to, in theory. So we're in pose mode. We'll click on the finger and we'll do a G. We'll grab it and then we go. And we've got his shovel in his hand. And you can pose him now, whatever you want, with the shovel. And do it as you will. Yep. Now, if you start getting or get it all wrong, we can do Control A. Yeah, apply it, pose as rest mode. And what it does, it brings it back. If you look in edit mode, oh, no, it's not, because I haven't done the arm. Pose mode. There we go. I think you've got to press All, Control A. Apply as pose. No. Apply selected as rest pose. Well, I think I might leave that one. Control A, I'm sure it is. Apply visual transform to pose. Apply visual transform to pose. So we go back to edit mode. I think that's where we started. So that's where we started. And if we go to pose mode, oh, it's moved out. So if we apply pose to rest mode, some reason it's not moving with a rig. So we'll forget that one. You don't need to know that anyway. So any questions on adding bits and bobs to your man? We did a rifle the other week where I actually moved the rifle around. You can always put the rifle in the hand. I think we can. Yeah. So any questions on that? Anything you need demoing in on this? I can show you it printed, or go to the printer if you like. So what you need to do is press A, File, Export, STL. Up here on the right, you need selection only, because if you've got 3 or 4 figures in there, it's going to select them all. Press selection only, and we'll scale it in the slicer. Where we're going, downloads, we'll go test 1, and we'll come in. Super slicer, go back. Right now, our man, test man, comes in very small, about 21 mil, and there he is. Now, you will have to fix it through NetFab, lots of open edges. For some reason, don't know why, but my NetFab has gone very slow. I just don't know why. It used to take 20 seconds. It's taken a lot longer. So anyone got any questions now? That's a good time to ask, because I can't show much here. Oh, no, he's fixed it. Right, now that looks a bit ropey as well. Yeah, because what we did, we never applied the subdivider. So if we go back to object mode, we click on our mesh, which is basically our figure. We'll come to the spanner, we'll add a modifier, and we'll do subdivision surface. Not responding. See this, when you start subdividing a very detailed mesh, it's never done this before. Oh, there we go. Right, so you'll come down here, it's got subdivision, viewpoint levels. I wouldn't go above 1, not for a figure. So now if we press all, and we'll file export that as an STL, it says here, apply modifiers when you export it. So it should have applied that modifier while we exported it. Right, we'll go to, so that was test 1. That will still print lovely. It'll be a bit ruffled. So we go in, we'll do a test 2. So it's not even come through yet. So the size of test 1 was 8.5 meg. Size 2, 42 meg. So this is what you deal with when you start smoothing out objects. Right, all right, we'll fix through NetFab. Look like it's not even moving. So it's all a trade-off. Now I would print it, the first one, because you do get a bit of, it's a bit rough, which clothing is. It's not perfectly smooth, is it? If you want stuff, if you're going to upscale it to say O scale, G scale, perhaps add for better modifier, a smooth modifier. But as you can see, 5 times bigger file, a lot longer. It's got 3,053 open edges to repair. So